Hi students, it's week 8, so midterms are right around the corner and I wanted to make a short video to go over the midterm, hopefully answer any questions you have, and just as you're working through this and getting started that you are in the best place you can be. So as you can see, I've already given you some information in the announcements. Please review that, and then we can look to the syllabus and the example. Those are both available under content, course information, and syllabus and outlines. This is the 152 section, but it's the same for 151, and here they are. So here in your syllabus, this is the section on your midterm. I've tried to give you some detailed instructions and also a rubric to work from. Oh, it scrolled way down, but here we are. So here's the rubric. You can see biographical information, context analysis, support, organization, citations with parenthetical citations, and then your research. So I am looking for secondary source research in the biographical section, as well as obviously your primary source that you're analyzing. So secondary sources should not be encyclopedias or Wikipedias. So as we scroll up, we can see the instructions that I've given. The first thing I wanted you to do was review the plagiarism module, which is here on D2L under student support. This is for your protection. I really want you to understand what plagiarism is, why it's serious, because I will give you a 0 if you plagiarize. You should never, ever copy and paste anything into the document you're actually working on. If you do that for your notes, that's fine, but you have to keep your notes in a separate file, because if you forget to paraphrase and you just leave it there, you will be in big trouble. You will get a 0, and I do report as well. So just watch that, and that's just good practice for your entire academic career. So as you get started, you're looking for a balance between the bibliography portion and the analysis portion. As you can see in the example, which I've done, Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, just because we're all so familiar with it that I really don't want anyone analyzing it. We have all been reading this since kindergarten, so it's a great speech, but we've given it a lot of attention. So, so I want you to choose something else if you're in 152. Don't choose this one. So here you can see I've given some information on Martin Luther King Jr. and then more on what was going on in his life at the time he made the speech. This is also a great place to point out parenthetical citations right here. So normally in Chicago Manual of Style, you would use footnotes. Footnotes are really complicated. I don't think they're necessary at this level, but I do want you to get used to citing even your paraphrase. So that's something that's new for a lot of students at this level. They're used to citing their quotations, but you need to cite even your paraphrase. Where did you get this information? You can also see in this example the type of secondary sources that I would like you to consider. These aren't really complicated. I didn't go with journals or anything like that. But National Park Service, Nobel Peace Prize, something where there is someone who has some sort of expertise who's in editorial control. So nothing, certainly not a blog or something like that, but something museum, government, education related would be great. So as we go through this, then we go on to the historical relevance section. This is in the syllabus, it's in the rubric. I want you to talk about what was going on in the country when this was created, so that the sources are jumping off point for giving research on the individual and on the time period. And then we can go to the source itself. So I do want the ABCs clearly marked and outlined. You don't have to label each of your sections. If you want to write more of just an essay format, there's nothing wrong with that at all. If you are having trouble with the organization, you may certainly use these subheadings. That's fine with me. So then we go on to the analysis. I go in this example in detail through the entire speech. This is quite a long speech, so that's another point to consider. If you're doing an illustration or something, it will be shorter. You don't try to do an entire book or something really long. You won't be able to give good analysis on something that long without just writing a prohibitively long paper. And then here is the bibliography. So here's just a little something I wanted to point out. A lot of people aren't putting in the indentation here. So sometimes you have to actually hit a return and then you can put the tab in to give the indent. So that's just something to watch out for. As always, email me if you have any questions. I will read a draft, but if I'm doing that, I do want it by Friday so that we can go over it and make sure you have time to take into consideration any changes. Since there are two